Good at being patient. Thank you. Good morning. My name is Katie Resendez, and I'm the Director of Children's Ministry here at UUC Phoenix. I want to remind you that at any point during the service, you are welcome to sit or let your body be however it is comfortable. If that means up here with me, if that means in the chairs, if that means dancing, if that means pacing back and forth. Let your bodies be comfortable in this space so that your spirit can worship correct in a way that it needs to. I almost said correctly. Anyone have an idea of what the correct way to worship is? Robert does, of course. Of course. I'm not asking. So this morning, I want you to remember what it's like to be from Arizona. I want you to remember how strong and powerful that makes you. You, even if you've only lived here for a day and are just visiting, you are now from Arizona because you've survived heat in late September. You've remembered to drink enough water. You've remembered that coffee is very important, but also dehydrating, and dehydrating is the worst thing in the entire world. You've gone for runs and known to play the game stick or snake, where you run and go, is that a, nope, just a stick. Okay, we're good. You are strong and powerful and amazing because you are from Arizona. Remember that and hold that. Because when you listen to the radio and you turn on the news, you're going to hear that Arizona sucks. You're going to hear how terrible it is, how our politics are terrible, how abusive we are, how terrible we are. But I want you to remember that this is also where the revolution is. We are called to this border state. We live here on purpose, unless you're under the age of 18 and your parents get to dictate whatever you do. That being said, we live here on purpose. And we live here with purpose. And that reputation we have as Arizona, be it for our politics, which are not our politics, or for our white male dictated lives, which are not our white male dictated lives, our verbose, over-conservative, over-Christian choices and decisions of daily life and wear, which are not our fashion choices, despite my prairie dress today. Thank you, Target. Remember that those aren't ours, because we're desert children, every single one of us. But we have a bad reputation. And so I was thinking about, well, where doesn't have a bad reputation? And I grew up most of the time in Massachusetts, and Massachusetts has a very good reputation. That didn't work. So then I thought about places like Hawaii, which seems very nice, and maybe we shouldn't go there because the Hawaiians have asked us to stop. So that didn't work. Then I thought about the equality state. So I want to tell you about the equality state. You down? Okay, so the equality state was the first state to pass suffrage, women's suffrage, in the US. In the 1860s and 70s, they granted women the right to vote before any other state. The equality state also, because they let women vote, let women run for office. Now this is amazing. I mean, we know there have always been women in that gender construct way that women have always existed, whatever that is. But allowing women to vote, allowing women to run for office meant that women were people. And this was revolutionary. And so in Wyoming, we see the very first woman in the US to cast a ballot ever was a little old lady who had worked her butt off for equality. We also see the first ever elected judge who is a female, also Justice of the Peace. And then we also have Miss Nellie Taylor Ross. Now, she had been born in Missouri to a fairly wealthy family, and she, with her husband, moved to the capital city of the equality state. And because they were wealthy, they were white, they had access to lots of privilege, her husband was able to climb up the political ladder and become elected governor. And like every single man in the whole world does, he died. He just happened to do it while he was in office. So he dies, and the state decides to hold a special election to see who should be governor next. Now Nellie decides to run. And now in the US, we kind of have this weird thing where if you are married to someone and they die in office, you can be appointed to their position, which has been the weirdest thing ever. Please, if Elena ever dies, don't make me do sound engineering for you. Please. But that wasn't true then. Because how could a woman be governor if she wasn't a person yet? But the equality state had figured out that women were people. And so they had an option. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. It was very caring. They had an option to do. So she ran, and she got elected. She served as the first elected governor of a US state for 2 years, at which point she ran again, didn't win, primarily because she was really big on prohibition, which means not drinking alcohol, in a state that was really big on drinking. So that didn't work out so well. But she did get appointed to run the National Mint. So why do I tell you about her? Her politics don't match what ours tend to. Her life was very different than ours. None of us tend to wear mink coats in the desert. She wore a lot of them. But she decided to run for office. She decided to take that position because she knew what the vision was. She knew what she wanted to see, and she knew what her state was capable of. And it wasn't just, this is my husband's line, I'm gonna follow through so that I can keep living in this nice gubernatorial mansion. It was, I truly believe in this vision. Oh yeah, and I have some adjustments this way and this way and this way. And she knew what she wanted, and she knew someone had to step into those shoes. So she did. Which is maybe a lesson to all of us, because I know all of you are real good at talking about what you want our state to look like and what you want our state's reputation to be. And if our state has a bad reputation for our politics, we have to change it. And it's not just by voting. Voting helps, but voting's the darn bare minimum. You turn 18, that's what you do. That is your responsibility. Some folks have ideological differences around voting. Great. Then get out and actually make change with your hands and your feet, if voting isn't the way you're going to do it. But that next step is your school board. Hell, it's even your HOA. Whatever that office is, if you have a vision for change, you have to go make it. Don't be the person in the meeting who raises their hand and critiques everything, has solutions for everything, and then goes home and watches TV and never steps up and does the work. Run. Be the governor in the mink coat. Who cares? Just let your vision live, because it's really, really, really important. And if you're at a point in your life where you can't, find the people who can and support the hell out of them, because they're being braver. And so they need you to be stronger, and they need you to be a better support. So the equality state was Wyoming. Cowboys, windy plains, ranchers, ranch land, not a whole lot of pigmentation and melanation. Wyoming is the equality state. If Wyoming can hold on to the title of the equality state, Wyoming, who has not since Miss Nellie elected a female governor, Arizona can fix reputation, right? So let's do that, because you are so very powerful and so very loved.